This is everything I ate in Rome. It's my first time ever in Italy, so let's explore the food together here. First up, I tried one of Rome's most loved street food snacks called supli for $3. So it's a deep fried rice ball and it had such an awesome crunchy exterior and a super cheesy and tomatoey center. It's so tasty. I also got a $2 Primavera pizza slice, so you pay by weight here. I did not expect it to taste this good. It had a really thin, crispy base and the creamy burrata, fresh tomato and the basil tasted so delicious. Then I got a small $4 tiramisu from two sizes and absolutely fell in love. The texture was heavenly. It was so light, fluffy, and creamy, and the coffee flavor was beautiful. I'm going to dream about this now. Next up, I visited All Antico Vinaio, which is famous for their sandwiches. Just look at the steam coming out of the bread. I got the $17 La Paradiso, which had fresh, crispy yet fluffy focaccia, and inside it had really thinly cut slices of mortadella, creamy stracciatella cheese, and cream of pistachio, which I wasn't sure if I would like, but it worked so well together. Of course, I had to get gelato, so I went to Frigidarium, and it's $4 for a small cup with 2 scoops. It melts so fast, by the way, so eat quick. I tried the Frigidarium caramel cookie flavor, hazelnut, mango, and raspberry. They were all great, but my favorite was definitely the raspberry. It was so refreshing and had that sour kick that I loved. There's more amazing food coming. Go to part 2. This is everything I ate in Rome part 2. Have you seen a pizza pocket like this before? It's an iconic Roman street food called trapezzino, which was $8.50. It has such a phenomenal crispy yet bouncy dough, and the beef meatball with tomato sauce inside was delicious. Next up, I tried a $6 maritozzo, which was like eating a sweet cloud. The bun was soft and fluffy, and the vanilla whipped cream was airy and smooth. I also got a $6 cup of strawberry and raspberry gelato from Giolitti. It had such a smooth consistency and was so refreshing. The strawberry is my new favorite, and now I can see why everyone eats gelato every day here. Then I grabbed an $8.50 tiramisu from Pompey, which was creamy but a little dense for my liking. The tiramisu from two sizes still takes the #1 spot for me, but this was still tasty. Last but not least, I got a $27 carbonara from Roscioli Salumeria. The spaghetti was perfectly al dente, wrapped in the rich and creamy sauce, and the crispy and fatty guanciale or pork cheek added mouth-watering bursts of saltiness. I've got to say, this is the best carbonara I've tried to date. This is everything I ate at McDonald's in Rome. The Macca's here almost feels like a museum. It's got a statue, beautiful arched ceilings, and it's actually the first McDonald's built in Italy. First up, I got this $19 tasty basket which had wings, panzerotti, and nuggets. The wings were so good. They were crispy yet juicy, and I think they're baked, so it didn't feel super oily, and I like how they were nicely seasoned too. The panzerotti had a soft pastry and stretchy cheese and tomato. It was okay, but not a must order for me. And the nuggets were nice and crunchy. They taste similar to the ones in Australia, but I found the sweet and sour sauce kind of different. It tasted sweeter here. And I also grabbed a $3 McToast, which tasted really freshly made. It had a nicely toasted bread, ham, and the oozing melted cheese. Have you ever heard of a $10 crispy McWrap? It's basically a Big Mac in a wrap with bacon. I think it's a decent option if you want something lighter than a burger, but I wish it did have pickles. I also got a $5 cheese and bacon loaded fries with it, which was nothing special in my opinion, but what I do think they do really well here are the desserts. The $5 tiramisu was fluffy and smooth and had a great coffee hit, and I really liked the pistachio McFlurry, which had a really nice pistachio sauce and crunchy biscuit bits on top. Oh, and they sell a $1.50 block of cheese here, which makes a decent snack on the go. This is everything I ate in Naples. We are in the birthplace of pizza, so let's try as many as we can. First up, I went to the famous Pizzeria de Michele and waited 40 minutes in line. I opted for the $9 marita, which is half margarita and half marinara. And fun fact, they actually don't pre-cut pizzas here. You just cut as you go. It was really tasty and had a thin base, but I can't say it was life-changing, but it was definitely simple and made really well. Just down the road from here is a mum and pop shop that's been around since 1860. I got an $8 pizza fritter, which is a deep fried pizza. It was wonderful seeing it being made fresh right in front of you. It's filled with ingredients like mozzarella, salami, and ricotta, and look how massive it is. I enjoyed the golden and puffy dough that was slightly chewy on the inside, but honestly, it did feel a little heavy and greasy for my taste buds the more I ate it, but it was definitely worth a try. Quick break from pizza, I got a $12 coppo, which is a cone filled with fried seafood like prawns, anchovies, and calamari. You can tell the seafood is fresh. It had a crispy batter that was well seasoned, and it was just great with a dash of lemon. Then I came across this cart that sold $3 lemon slushies, so I grabbed one to cool me down. It had really fine ice and was sour and refreshing, and I just love scooping it and sipping it. Now for the finale, I got a $5 pizza portafoglio, which is also known as a wallet pizza. It's cool how how this place delivers it from a basket. It's a simple margarita pizza that's cheesy, and it's great how easy it is to eat on the go. This is everything I ate in the town of Amalfi in Italy. I did not expect to find the best lobster pasta of my life for $67 here. The linguine was al dente and coated in the most mouth-watering sauce. It was lemony and buttery and infused with so much lobster flavor. The lobster meat itself was sweet and tender, and gosh, I savored every single bite. This $6.50 lemon soda was really refreshing. It tasted similar to Solo, and I also got a $35 lemon risotto with shrimps, which had a brilliant balance of saltiness and acidity, and you know I love sucking the head. Then I headed off and got a $17 lemon sorbet, which was sour and refreshing, but I personally didn't think it was worth the price. So it looks like a lot of sorbet, but the lemon is only slightly carved at the top, and I've definitely had better sorbets. And later at night, I got a seat outside this cafe and tried their $12 sfogliatella. It was beautifully flaky and crispy with a pop of sourness from the cherries and cream, and this $12 lemon delight was like eating a fluffy cloud with a kick of citrus. Would you pay $20 for hot chocolate in Paris? Let's compare two famous cafes and see if it's worth it. First up is Angelina. I waited 30 minutes in line and the tea room is beautiful. It feels very grand. Their $15 hot chocolate is super thick. Whoop, there's a bit of film there. And I ordered 2 servings, so this jug and cream is $30. It's so satisfying mixing in the cream. It tastes very rich, sweet, and slightly bitter. I found it nice but a little heavy for my taste, and the $5 croissant was quite average. Overall, I'd rate it a 7.8 out of 10. Not really worth it for me, but if you're into indulgent drinks, you may love this. Okay, next up is Correct. I went at 9 a.m, so there's no line this time. Now, their hot chocolate is a whopping 20 Australian dollars, which is 12 euros, but the portion is pretty good. It can easily be shared between 2 people. So the consistency isn't as thick as Angelina's, and mixing in the whipped cream gave it such a lovely fluffiness. It tastes sweet and creamy, and I really enjoyed it. The $6 croissant was buttery and flaky and was so good dipped into the hot chocolate. Overall, I'd rate it a 9 out of 10. I loved the experience and it was worth it for me. But remember, it just comes down to personal taste. Would you wait 1.5 hours for this steak frites in Paris? Let's see if it's worth it. So by the time I got to my table, I was hangry. And this place doesn't have a menu. The only question they ask is how you'd like your steak cooked. We started with bread and a walnut salad, and finally, here comes the steak frites. The steak was nice and tender, but what really wowed me was the mouth-watering green sauce, which was tangy and herby, and the fries were perfectly golden and crispy. It was so good, I mopped the plate clean. But wait up, we're not done yet. They actually give you another refill of steak and fries. I was so happy for round 2. Overall, this meal cost 29 euros or 48 Australian dollars, and I'd rate it a 9 out of 10. I can't deny the wait time was ridiculous, but the experience was worth it for me in the end. This is everything I ate at the Bastille Market in Paris. First up, I was immediately drawn to this crepe stand. I grabbed an $11 galette, which is a savory crepe made with buckwheat flour. It was filled with cheese, caramelized onion, sausage, mustard, and the outside was beautifully golden. You know when you bite into a sausage and it just has that mouth-watering crunch? Well, this was it. It was so thick and juicy. I also got a $5 Nutella crepe, which was very thinly made with a soft and slightly chewy texture. It's a simple yet yummy treat. They told me their $6 coin amande pomme caramel is their most popular pastry, so of course I had to get it. It was sweet and rich with a caramelized apple on top. The texture is dense with a slight chew to it. It's nice. Next up, I got a $33 plate of mixed oysters that were freshly shucked. I added plenty of lemon and mignonette sauce for that sour kick, and gosh, it was so fresh and delicious. I even got seconds. Quick question, are you a soft or hard cheese person? I'm team soft all the way. The people here are so friendly, by the way. I got a $6 brie cheese and couldn't wait, so I took a bite first. It was just oozing with creaminess. Picnic at the Eiffel Tower, anyone? I also got these macarons for $1.50 each, which were not bad, but more on the cakey and crumbly side. I prefer mine chewier, but it's really up to your personal taste. Anyways, my favorite way to explore a new city is to go to the markets, and this was such a wonderful way to see Paris. I spent $300 at this restaurant that has an incredible view of the Eiffel Tower, but let's see if the food is actually good. It's La Suite Giraffe in Paris, and apparently it's really hard to get a booking, but I managed to get one the day before. So for entrees, I got this $80 seafood platter. There's oysters and shrimps, and if you know me, you know I love sucking the head. It's so juicy. The meat was very plump and was amazing dipped into the mayo. I also tried Norway lobster for the first time, which was so succulent. It tastes like a super soft and delicate scampi, and it was hard to crack crack open the crab claws, but once I got in, it was tasty and fresh. And now for the main, I got the Simmental Prime Beef Rib, which was a whopping $230. I can't believe I just said that. They truly put on a good show, cutting it up and plating it beautifully. The steak was tender and cooked really nicely. I had some pieces with béarnaise sauce, which was creamy and tangy, and I had some with just a pinch of salt. It was great, but I've definitely had better steaks at a much lower price point. Oh, and it also came with baby potatoes and a rocket salad. Overall, I expected giraffe to be overrated, but I actually had a lovely experience and would rate it an 8 out of 10. The service and food was good, but it's very expensive, but I guess you're paying for the amazing view and bougie vibes. I wouldn't be rushing back unless it's for a special occasion. Do you think it's worth it? Would you be down to try snails and frog legs? Well, let's eat it together in Paris and see if it's good. But first, I got a $21 French onion soup, which had a huge puff pastry top. So it comes with extra cheese, which we mix in until it's gooey. It has a nice sweetness from the caramelized onion, but I did find it quite watery. I do prefer a thicker and heartier French onion soup. I also got 6 oysters for $36, which were quite nice, but very expensive. I definitely can't eat 48 of these. Now for what we're here for, the $20 traditional escargot. It tastes buttery and garlicky with a great hit of parsley shining through, and the texture is soft and slightly chewy. I really liked it. Finally, let's try the $28 frog legs. I think the texture is similar to chicken but a bit softer. To be honest, it wasn't for me, but I think it really comes down to the sauce. This one was very buttery, whereas the frog legs I tried from another restaurant had a lemony and creamy sauce, which I enjoyed a lot more. Overall, I spent over $100, and I don't think I'd return to this restaurant, but I'd love to hear if you have any other recommendations. This is everything I ate at the Albert Kuip market in Amsterdam. First of all, how perfect do these strawberries look? I got a box for $8 and gosh, they were so sweet and juicy. Then I grabbed these $6.50 fries, which were so good. They're well seasoned and crispy, and dipping it into the Dutch mayo was heavenly. I also tried a $4 beef croquette for the first time. It had a crunchy crumbed exterior and a really soft and creamy beef filling. It's a nice snack. For something sweet, I got these $6.50 poffertjes, which are Dutch mini pancakes. It was so fresh, warm and fluffy, and was just perfection with the butter melting through and the sweetness from the icing sugar. I'm in love with these. Next, I got a $3.50 lemon slushy, which was super sour and refreshing. Then I tried this $8 chicken sandwich called Broja Heta Kip. This was nice, but I think it would taste even better if it was freshly made. There's so much more amazing food here though. Go to part 2. This is everything I ate at the Albert Kuip market in Amsterdam, part 2. I got these $8 meatballs called kip gehaktbal. They were seasoned really nicely and tasted great with cheese. Definitely gets a thumbs up. Of course, I had to get a $4 stroopwafel, which had a glorious caramel filling that was sweet, buttery, and cinnamony. It reminded me of a Weathers original. Have you tried these? So yum. Next, I tried $8 kibbeling, which are small chunks of fried fish. It was cooked so beautifully. It was fresh, crispy, and was just incredible dipped into the garlicky mayo sauce. And you know I was happy to find this $2.50 lemonade. It was so refreshing to sip on. Last but not least, I got a $10 waffle, which was freshly made and topped with strawberries, icing sugar, milk chocolate, so friendly, and white chocolate. And honestly, this is one of the best waffles I've had to date. It was crispy yet fluffy inside and was just so delicious. This is me saying so good. Anyways, I really loved trying some Dutch food here. There's so much variety and this market is amazing. Come with me to eat my first meal in Greece. I'm in Athens and I heard this spot called Othanasis is famous for their kebabs. But first, I had to get their $13 Greek salad. Eating this brought me back to life. It was so incredibly fresh. I swear feta, cucumber, tomato, and capsicum has never tasted so good to me. And now for the $22 yogurt kebab. It's such an indulgent dish you just want to sink your teeth into. So you have 4 juicy lamb and beef kebabs drenched in yogurt and tomato sauce on a bed of pita that soaks up all of the juices. It was so creamy and hearty. If you're after something less heavy, they also have an $18 thanasis kebab and $7 tzatziki. It has the same succulent minced meat and I love making wraps with this. So grab the pita, slap on the tzatziki on the meat and add the roasted tomato, onion, and there you have the perfect bite. If I had to choose one dish, it would be this one. It is unreal. By the way, the staff also mentioned the kebab meat is halal. And yeah, this was such a delicious meal. This is everything I ate in Santorini. I'm staying in Ia and it is absolutely breathtaking here. My Airbnb came with a free Greek breakfast with omelette and yogurt, which was such a nice start to the day. How cute are these stray cats? For lunch, I walked down to Amudi Bay and gosh, how is this real life? There's octopus drying in the sun and I was lucky to get a seat right next to the water. I grabbed a $24 Santorini salad, which was very fresh. I really enjoyed the cherry tomatoes and olives. I also ordered a $113 sea bass, which was so soft and nicely cooked. It had a great hit of sourness from the lemon and olive oil. The walk all the way back up the stairs was not fun though, but I did see donkeys on the way. Now for dessert, I headed to this cafe and got a $12 baklava, which had sticky layers of flaky pastry, but it was a bit sweet for my liking. I also got a $15 cheesecake slice and $14 chocolate milkshake, which were actually pretty nice, but unfortunately wasn't worth the price for me. On the plus side though, you are paying for the amazing location and view here. The last place I went to isn't as fancy as the others, but was my favorite. I got a $26 pork gyro platter, which had nicely seasoned pork, fresh and crispy fries, and I loved making wraps with its tzatziki, tomato, and onion. It was so good. The $9 chicken pita gyros here is also delicious, and I loved this $5 lemon drink, which was fizzy, tangy, and so refreshing. This is everything I ate in Athens. First up, I got a $5 pork souvlaki, which had an insanely good pita that was crispy yet fluffy. And inside, the pork, yogurt, tomato, and parsley was well salted and was just bursting with freshness. Then I grabbed $10 loukoumades with ice cream, which are Greek donuts with a beautiful springy and fluffy texture. It's coated in honey and cinnamon that's balanced out really nicely with the cream ice cream. This dessert is elite. Next up, I went to a no-frills seafood shop and got a $20 plate of grilled shrimps. Look how huge these are. As always, you know I love sucking the head. You've got to get all the brains and juices out. The shrimp meat itself was sweet and succulent, and paired with the lemon, it was perfection. I also got the $17 grilled thrapsalo. The squid was doused in olive oil and had a great hit of oregano and lemon. It was really tasty and had a slight bite to it. Oh, and this Greek lemonade was super fizzy and refreshing too. Moving on, I tried a $5 bugatsa, which had a flaky pastry and a thick and bouncy custard cream filling. I like how it's not too sweet. For dinner, I went to a family-run taverna and tried their $12 moussaka, which is a traditional Greek casserole with eggplant and minced meat. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of eggplant and this didn't convert me, but I can see why so many people think this is a great comfort dish. And last but not least, I got the $23 grilled lamb and chips. The lamb could be juicier, but the flavor makes up for it. It's well seasoned with a nice hint of oregano. This is everything I ate in Crete. Of course, I had to start with a $6 pork gyro, which was fresh off the spit. Now, I'm a saucy gal, so I loved how every single bite had loads of tzatziki. The pork was juicy and well seasoned, and the onion and tomato was super fresh. My only wish is for the chips to be crispier, otherwise it was so good. Next up, more gyros. This hole-in-the-wall shop has been open for over 50 years, and their $5 pork gyros is made very traditionally. We're talking no chips, no tzatziki, and instead it has yogurt topped with paprika. It was simple and tasty, but the first gyro spot is my personal favorite. Then I had a quick swim in Falasana Beach. I highly recommend it. And on my drive home, I got an $11 Cretan salad. So instead of feta, it had a soft cheese called mitsara, and I really liked it. The capsicum, tomato, and cucumber was so fresh. I also got this $22 pan of steamed mussels, which were juicy and garlicky and so delicious with lemon. And last but not least, I went to this tavern known for their grilled meats and got a $28 beef steak. It was so tender and juicy and cooked really nicely to medium rare. But the winner for me were these $20 lamb chops. The lamb was smoky and succulent and had some nice fatty pieces. And dipping it into a generous amount of tzatziki was the cherry on top. I drove 40 minutes up the mountains to this family-run restaurant in Crete. They cook everything over wood fire with no electricity at all, and everything is grown from the family's farm and village. First up, I tried a $20 baby goat in oven, which was so incredibly succulent. It just falls off the bone. It had a hint of rosemary and lemon and was just mouth-watering perfection. Quick question, have you tried snails before? These $15 snails were quite different to any I've tried. It was cooked in olive oil and onion and had an earthy and slightly sour flavor. And this $25 beef stew in red sauce was very tender and soft. It was slow cooked in a hearty tomato sauce and tasted amazing with a mashed potato. I've been on the hunt for an amazing Greek vegetable stew, and this $12 plate hit the spot. It was so delicious and fresh. And finally, I got the $17 tsigariasto goat, which again was so tender, just like all of the other meats that was slowly stewed. It had a beautiful, rich flavor that was herby and salty. This was such a special and authentic experience I'll always cherish. This is everything I ate at Tomorrowland in Belgium. First up, I got a $21 grilled chicken, which was juicy and paired really nicely with this sweet apple sauce and baked potato. I also tried the $24 Belgian loaded fries with beef stew. How good does this look? Some pieces were chewier than others, but it was a nice hearty dish and the fries dipped in the mayo was amazing. One of my favorites was the $22 double smashed cheeseburger, which had a soft bun, juicy beef patties, and a tangy sauce similar to a Big Mac sauce. It was delicious. Then I grabbed a $20 frozen yogurt. Gosh, I can't believe I paid that much. At least the toppings are unlimited, right? It was super refreshing and a good change from some of the heavier food options. On the last day, I got a $20 pork gyros, which had a soft pita, plenty of well-seasoned pork, fries, and tzatziki. It was so good. Next up, I tried the $13 half salami pizza, which was salty and cheesy. It was a nice snack. I also gave the $23 fish and chips a go. The fish was actually crispy and well cooked, but the tartar sauce lacked flavor for my liking and the chips were just okay. Last but not least, I got a $19 hot dog, which had a juicy chicken sausage, and I liked the addition of fried onion and pickles, which added a nice burst of flavor and texture. Overall, the food was definitely pricey, but it had some of the best options I've seen at a festival.